On this episode, we talk about issues with Monday's WWE Raw, Roman's Tater Tots, our general status fans, TLC predictions, questions, and more now on Byte That. Hey gang, what's going on? You're listening to episode 120 of Byte That's weekly wrestling podcast, the show where we talk about the ups and downs of that which we love, which is the world of the WWE and its squared circle. Thanks for tuning in and checking out the show. Remember, we are available every single Tuesday night on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, ByteThat.com, and of course, for this and tons more, head on over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ByteThatCast. My name is Juan Velas. I am from San Juan, Puerto Rico, and joining me is a permanent panel of guests from Boston, Massachusetts, Ryan Dash and Dawson combined McNulty, and the other guy from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, Keith, the birthday boy, Poshik.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. There's a lot of heart in there.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm back.
How's the birthday boy doing?
The birthday boy's doing great. He's like super old now. He's like a quarter of a century.
Wow.
Like, oh my God, I basically might as well go get myself a walker.
How's it feel?
Exactly the same as when I was 24. Yeah.
What'd you do for your birthday?
Not much. Didn't put on clothes till like 11:30 in the morning.
So good, right?
Did some laundry. Oh, it's the best. Did some laundry, cleaned my apartment. Grabbed Mongolian for dinner.
Ryan,
I put on clothes before
life.
I went to to get Mongolian. I know it's nuts, it's loony, it's zany, it's crazy.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm back.
Okay, guys, so let's get the elephant out of the room right now because he's in here and he's taking up a lot of space. For the past, I would say, a good month and a half, we've had this situation in the show where we even poke fun at how much negative things are being brought up in wrestling, not just between us, but generally the community. This week, however, I mean, I think I said this last week, and this week triumphs over it so hard. You have Matt Hardy on Twitter, you have Square Circle, you have Wade Keller, Dave Meltzer. Everybody is just talking about the situation of the WWE. This show, we are going to be giving our TLC predictions, but, let's honestly just talk. Like, our schedule right now is wrestling fans talking about how we feel about the product, guys. How do you guys feel? Ryan, first, like, how are you feeling?
Well, there's kind of a reason I just haven't even talked until now, and that's because
it's been a dark 24 hours.
Last night, Raw broke me. I feel like this was kind of almost like the final straw. I'm not quitting watching WWE because, believe it or not, even if Raw sucks, I do look forward to doing this show and talking about how much it sucks. So I'm not going away. Man. But
when does that become masochism?
I don't know, but it's getting close because this was just one of those shows where there was absolutely nothing that I could really take away from it that I really enjoyed. So it was very much a chore to get through.
What about you, Keith? Like, what is your concern right now? Obviously, everybody on the net, just the context. People are talking about Roman Reigns, Sheamus, the TLC main event. A majority of them would actually like to see Cena come back. This is getting bad to the point where, for context, before, the IWC, the infamous keyboard warriors that all the wrestlers would bash whenever, somebody tries to defend themselves, people would complain about, why is not X or Y getting a push? I think we've gotten way past that. If you look online, like you go to Squared Circle, you go anywhere, and people talk about the format of the show. And that's how you know things are getting serious, when it's no longer about an individual. It's not about your Dolph Ziggler, your Dean Ambrose, is he a lunatic fringe or not? It's not about Kevin Owens. It is about what you do with these guys and how do you keep people tuned in.
And I think that argument is an absolutely valid one. I actually had a moment of clarity last night when I was watching Raw, where I just sat down and asked myself, why am I doing this again? Why am I okay, so let's use this week as an example. They're asking me to devote 3 hours of my life on a Monday to watch their product a solid, let's say 45 minutes of it was watchable TV. And then not even including SmackDown. SmackDown's a whole other thing. Then we have a pay-per-view on Sunday, which is another 3 hours. Plus the Stone Cold podcast, which we're going to throw that in there because that's must not miss network
TV.
Television. And that's like 7 hours of my life you are asking me to put into the subpar product at the moment. Like, why should I keep coming back? Why should I stay tuned? You're giving me no reason to really at the moment.
You know what's a good word to describe? I think a lot of people are just being negative without really thinking of the proper word. WWE is lame.
Yeah.
I think that is the best word. I'll be honest here. I don't think the show's horrible. Because I think horrible defines like bad matches, horrible segment by segment on a show. And I don't think Raw's gotten to that point.
It is pretty close.
It may be close, but I don't think
here's the thing is I think we're too, what is it? We can't see the forest through the trees. You know, we're so close to it. We're so in it that we can't really see from an outside perspective how incompetent this show is sometimes, and how, you know, the we know how bad the storytelling is and all that. And without like, you know, an outside perspective, you know, because we can, as wrestling fans, we can kind of connect the dots when things don't really make sense. So in our head, because we've seen so much of it, we can kind of draw A to B and realize what's going on. And something we're going to read probably pretty soon talks about how the show is built, could possibly be built in a way that it's meant to appeal to like a lot of first-time watchers. So I think people who are right in that middle between hardcore wrestling fans and first-time watchers are maybe seeing the show for what it really is, which is just like a complete mess and it doesn't make any sense.
And we are way past the point where, it's the PG era, it's the reality era, it's no more chair shots to the head. It's about the format.
Yeah,
what
it's not
like it's roster.
Even if it was childish storytelling, it's not good childish storytelling. You know what I mean? Even if it was meant to appeal to the kids, like it's not good kid content. You watch like the Pixar movies, that's family friendly entertainment. And everybody enjoys that. You know, you can find that sweet spot where it's for the family, but it's actually good. And let's be real. I mean, yes, they think of the children. Yeah, you want to appeal to these like families, but like a traditional family is not going to think that wrestling is family entertainment. At the end of the day, like no matter how much you want to PG it up, these people are beating the crap out of each other and hitting each other with chairs and stuff. That is never going to be family entertainment. You have to just realize what you are.
Exactly. You're grown men beating each other up. You should really embrace it, but I don't really think the whole PG of it or whatever, the corporate side of it is really that big of an issue at the end of the day, because I mean, yeah, that is what it is. I had a conversation with a very good friend of mine the other day who's a casual wrestling fan who just tunes in when the big things happen, and like if he's home on a Monday, he'll check it out. And he mentioned that the thing that bothers him most are the little things like camera angles, how he went back and watched something from a couple of years ago, and by a couple I mean the late 90s, and how the camera wouldn't switch after every single move. So they would do like a chain of 3 or 4 moves in a row on the same camera angle. It's nice. You're not like, oh, the guy gets Irish whipped, let's do a turnbuckle camera, and then he gets flipped over, so let's do the boom camera to show him getting flipped over and stuff. It's those little things that just add up and really take away from the product.
Jack of all trades, master of none. One size fits none. Before Ryan brings up a really eye-opening and pain-inducing article, because it's so well written and really gives a great perspective, bringing up Raw with what you said, Keith, like, I think the product tries to appeal to everybody. If you like movies, you may like Raw. If you like TV shows, you may like Raw. If you like sports, you may like Raw. And it gets to a point where choose what you want to be. Right back on Raw. Here's an example. He pulls off a suicide dive. As cool as it may be that he tried to do that, when everybody tries to do the super kick, when everybody tries to dive because it's the cool thing, everybody looks the same, and it makes everybody just look normal.
It almost makes you wonder, like, is the right way to watch Raw to pick a segment and ignore the rest of the show? So get your little piece, record it, get your little piece, and then just get out.
Yeah, I mean, Ryback shouldn't even, Ryback, that's not his style to be doing outside dives. And now he's done that 2 weeks in a row. I get when he wants to do it, like, for that special spot last week. And he had a whole bunch of people catching him. But I actually retweeted Lance Storm last night, where the way he did at least that outside dive was pretty dangerous. You know, like,
yeah, he could have landed way worse than he did.
Seriously hurt someone the way he did, because he basically went back first out there and hit them. So leave it to the guys that are supposed to be doing that. And you're just taking away from the high-flying guys. You know, you got the power moves, Ryback. What do the high-flying guys have if you start doing it, you know?
Exactly. There are just certain things that certain people shouldn't do. Leave the high-flying stuff to the high flyers. Leave the big broody stuff to the big broody guys, and hey, maybe bring it out on a big thing. Like if Ryback wants to make a dive special, maybe only do it at WrestleMania. That's why we never see Brock Lesnar doing a shooting star press. He can do it. That doesn't mean he will do it.
All right, you guys ready for story time?
It's going to be painful, but go for it, man.
Story time. This was written by Dusty Finish on Squared Circle. The post is, the WWE has made their show more homogenous and less unique by design. Okay, here we go. The actual format of the television show in the Attitude Era was unique unto itself. There was nothing else like it on TV, and the WWE strove to make it unique and to make each character unique and distinct. Take, for example, from last night's Raw, the shot of Dean Ambrose eating popcorn and drinking a soda while watching Kevin Owens' match. In the Attitude Era, Dean would be backstage, feet up, tossing popcorn into his mouth while the match played on a monitor stacked up on some boxes or something. Effort would have been put in to give Ambrose some character distinction in that moment. Now, he looks exactly like every other wrestler watching the screen backstage. The distinctness is missing now, and I don't think it's by accident. There are other signs of this homogeny too. Raw always opening with a promo, Raw using contract signing segments over and over again, 50-50 booking, roll-ups and interference ending so many matches. It's all to make the show very unthreatening to watch and very easy to understand. The show is incredibly accessible now. It's also bland and times outright boring, especially when compared to the company's own past. Unfortunately for us hardcore fans that truly love wrestling and the things about wrestling that make it unique, the WWE isn't interested in telling stories we'll love. They're interested in telling stories that non-wrestling fans can easily digest. The sad fact is, this choice to make the show that's more bland and uninteresting has paid off huge for the WWE as a corporate entity, which is precisely what it's designed to do. Vince McMahon isn't trying to put on an entertaining wrestling program. He's trying to make this company larger and more successful. He's smart and has seen that making Raw a unique and interesting product is less beneficial to his company overall than making Raw a very accessible gateway to the entirety of the company's offerings. Raw is now a commercial for network subscriptions, blinking unicorn horns, and the WWE's charitable campaigns. It's not even attempting to be entertaining TV, and it really sucks. The WWE hires the best talent in the world and then asks them to create a product that only uses about half their talent and skill and encourages them to be less unique and exciting. The great painter Mark Rothko, I don't know if I butchered that, was once notoriously commissioned to create paintings to be hung in the lobby of the Four Seasons Hotel. He hated the task so much he painted giant, depressing, huge red abstract paintings that he knew a restaurant would never want. I wish WWE talent even had the option to be so bold. Today, Too Long Didn't Read, Vince McMahon's WWE is restaurant art.
Yes and no. See, here's the issue, I guess you could say, that I have with that, is that you're creating a television product that you want people to tune into weekly, right? So yes, you've created something that's very easy to digest for those people that aren't wrestling fans. It's something that they can watch, understand, and okay. But as a product, your goal is to keep those people around. Eventually, the people that are just tuning in and understand it are going to want more. Going to want something more compelling, more interesting.
Agreed.
But you're not giving that to them. So, like, there's almost a situation where you could have the best of both worlds, have your section of the show that's built for those fans, and then have the rest of it be compelling.
Yeah,
You know what
I think you could argue that this stuff, because there were some things, I don't have exact numbers, but WWE has been more profitable now than they were in the past several years. And I think what you're talking about, Keith, where this isn't sustainable because these casual fans are going to walk away when they see that they're not going to get anything else. And I think with like the serious decline in ratings, the ratings have consistently been low. They might be up a little or down a little, but they're still like getting to historical low levels. So I think it's already catching up to them.
See, here's the sad situation, though, and we've poked fun at it. It's all about the money, right? Keith, you bring up a great point that it's not just about bringing people in. It's also about sustaining them, keeping them in there. In the past, people would complain all the time, like, I would love to watch some wrestling, but there are so many storylines, like you change the channel and Undertaker's crucifying Stephanie McMahon, or Triple H is feuding over Booker T and his personal life, but then you required so much context that a lot of people gave up. So in many ways, the product that we see nowadays is partially our fault as fans, that sometimes we would take a little break, but you couldn't because then you felt like you were missing so much. So now you get a more streamlined product, which is great for current people. And here's another great example. Movies have a very positive attribute to them and a very bad one. If a movie's a hit, merchandise through the roof. It's all temporary. Sooner or later, that all goes down, but you get that huge boom. Frozen. I hated that movie, let it go. I mean, I did the cover for the CM Punk thing, but whenever you go to a store, there's a little kid that just saw the movie for the first time, and he wants to buy everything, every single thing. A month later, a couple months later, hates everything. Doesn't matter. They already invested the money into the merchandise. So in many ways, not like a business, it's more profitable for WWE to produce these short-term fans that will have that initial impulse. Same thing with Funko Pop. Same thing with anything that's happening nowadays. They're going to get those $20, $30 that they otherwise would never get, rather than the people that get the network, which is fun, but it's only $9.99 a month. Like, I don't spend a lot of money in t-shirts. Ryan, you buy a couple of shirts, but the three of us here, how much do we actually invest aside from the network in the WWE?
It's pretty much network plus one or two t-shirts a year.
Exactly.
That's pretty much what all the, the 18 to 35-year-olds are worth to WWE, unless you're a parent, and that's when you're really spending the money.
Almost as a counterpoint to myself, maybe it is more beneficial that Raw is, let's say, less than favorable in the grand scheme of things. Because as a big wrestling fan myself, and I asked this question to you guys, if you were to recommend somebody watch wrestling right now, would you recommend they watch Raw? Or would you recommend that they get them or try out the WWE Network and see some of the older stuff?
I would recommend NXT or pay-per-views, anything
which is
but Raw.
Which is behind the WWE Network, right?
There was no way I could recommend Raw.
Maybe Raw really is just a giant commercial for the network, because even us hardcore people wouldn't recommend it over the paid product.
Yeah,
here's the funny thing.
It's a giant commercial with a lot of commercials. I felt like there was more commercials this week than I've seen like ever.
Every kiss begins with K.
Oh God, and that Donnie commercial?
Yeah. But here's another example. We have said this so many times. The Raw's average, right? But we get to the pay-per-views and we enjoy them. Even the most stale pay-per-view this year has been a pretty good one. At least it's had a couple of standout matches. Years before, I would say we had way more pay-per-views. Ryback versus John Cena, Last Man Standing. There were shows that ended like that a lot, and we didn't like them. This year, I would say we've had very solid pay-per-views. WrestleMania was outstanding. The takeovers for NXT. It's specifically about Raw. I think Raw is just for a completely different audience. Like, not people that really just tune in. It's almost like people that maybe watch Raw like on the side. And for the children, I know that there was another counterpoint online that people said, well, 18% of the WWE audience is children. It's not about the size. It's about what that amount entitles to. As I mentioned, maybe there's only 18% children audience, but those kids want the games. They want the T-shirts. You go to a Kmart and go to the kids section. There are WWE title shoes. Freaking, you can have titles on your shoes.
You can sell kids anything. They will buy it. It doesn't matter. The show doesn't have to appeal to them. I mean, think about the Attitude Era, right? We were all kids when that was around, and maybe I wasn't watching it full time, but I sure as hell knew about the Attitude Era when I was a kid because all my friends were into it. Like, that's the thing. You can make as long as the content's cool, like, if the adults like it, the kids will follow and the kids will buy the merchandise.
The thing that wasn't there back then was the network. And I know it's a very recent thing, but all of that cool content does exist. It's just on the network. So I think the question is Raw really for us anymore?
I think I said this when the network was launched, or I almost need to go back and listen to this. One of my concerns seems to be happening, which is WWE knows that a lot of the Attitude Era people will just want to watch that. I have one of my best friends complains about Raw every single week, but then we'll go to the network watching Attitude Era Raw. Everything is all good and gravy. And they see that as no matter how much you complain about Raw now, just go back. We have like decades of content on the network for you to watch and enjoy. And it's sad because I don't think that any of us, from the moment that we wanted to do a podcast or being a wrestling fan or just devoting 3 hours on a Monday night, we don't want to sit here and complain. We've been recording for 23 minutes now. And I don't think I wanted to complain for even 30 seconds. But it's sad that
I've been watching, complain, at least today.
Yeah, today is a specific thing, but it's not like, remember when we had so many podcast episodes where we almost wanted to hit record like on the spot, like Raw would end. The reason we had Raw receptions was because so many things happened that we felt like we can't wait till tomorrow. We got to talk about that now.
Yeah, and for anyone who thinks like we're always bitter all the time, I just remember when we first started this podcast, like WWE was on fire. It was so good, and we were like questioning ourselves because we're like, we don't have anything bad to say. It's like so good right now.
It's true. At the end of the day, we do this because we love wrestling. It's just sometimes you have to take the good with the bad.
But kind of getting back to like, is Raw for us anymore? I think it's just kind of, I mean, granted, Seth Rollins, who was kind of like the linchpin of the show, got injured and everything kind of went into flux. But to be honest, we saw that the show was going downhill despite that. It wasn't just Rollins that has caused all this. It's been heading in this direction. And I think it's just kind of getting to a point where it's becoming unbearable. I mean, the commentary team just kind of using buzzwords all the time instead of just actually really calling and feeling what's going on. Like, I think to me, if I could say one thing that is missing from Raw, and in the world of Captain Planet, it was the most useless, but for Raw, it is the most important, and that is heart. There is no or soul, heart or soul.
Amazing comparison.
Yes, heart and soul. There is no heart in this show. It's just all robotic. Like, this is what I have to do, so I'm going to do it.
Corporate business.
Everybody's just punching in the clock, and basically why everybody loves the New Day. And hey, guess what? Based on the tweets that I've seen, the merchandise for the New Day is flying off the shelves because they are the only thing that feels like there is some heart there. And today, or last night on Raw, it feels like they're getting dangerously close to falling into the void like everybody else.
And three things. Number one, regarding the New Day, we feel that way because it feels like the only organic thing. And you can only have one thing in a 3-hour show happen in a good time for so long until it just gets becomes stale. It just becomes part of the show, part of the merchandise. Another one, I feel like I almost need to reiterate my point from last week. WWE, at least the segments, forget about the matches, but the promos, they feel like they don't even need a live audience. The best example was last night's main event. What in the blue hell was that? I don't think for so long, like honestly, it's been years. It has been at least a couple of years since I felt I went to sleep upset. Okay, I went to sleep upset after that promo.
That promo,
I don't think I've ever felt like that.
Yeah, no, that promo, and this is no exaggeration at all. That promo was the worst main event promo I have ever seen on Raw in the, better part of 14 years that I've watched wrestling. The absolute worst. Because not only was it absolutely terrible, but they decided to keep dragging it out for as long as they did. And nobody was excited to see them fight at that point. Nobody cared. And yeah, they got some sympathy Tater Tot chants, which,
Tater Tots.
It's like the one punchline is just, of course, going to the WWE well of just being racist. So it was pathetic.
Yeah.
It was the most pathetic excuse. And I don't know if it's still still like correct right now, but last I checked, that segment wasn't even a part of the YouTube highlights that they usually do for Raw.
Yeah, they cut it.
It wasn't.
Right
they cut the entire promo and went right to the fight. It's like they remember the Go Home show for WrestleMania where Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns gingerly fought over the WWE World Heavyweight Championship.
Segment. So
it's
deep.
like they said, how can we make something worse this year? And, well, dang nabbit, they pulled it off.
And, okay, let's actually break this piece by piece. I want to make sure that everybody watching, if you're or listening, if you're a first-time listener, why we feel so offended by this. Step by step, like, you felt the script. Was I the only one? I felt like there was this script on Sheamus's and Roman Reigns' hands.
Yeah,
and
they're all just
Sheamus
waiting.
spoke,
It's like they're waiting to say their line, hoping for a reaction.
Like Roman Reigns almost just stepped over what Sheamus was saying. Like Sheamus would be done talking and he would react and the crowd was on another level and it just felt like three different things that were disconnected. Whenever you don't have chemistry in wrestling, usually it's during a match or you have somebody like John Cena that can quickly adapt. This isn't working, fine. But no, we had like minutes upon minutes upon minutes of the same thing of basically two kids. Oh, I have a ladder in the ring. Oh, you want me to get rid of the ladder? Fine. I got rid of the chair. I got rid of the other thing. You're going in the ring now, so I guess we're going to brawl.
It's
Tater
stubborn.
Tots.
Like, I think stubbornness is a good word to describe WWE right now. Because, all right, let's face it, we're going to be referencing Squared Circle a lot because I was reading it all day. Someone referenced, what Paul Heyman, I believe, said on ECW, The Rise and Fall of ECW, where he tried to, mask the weaknesses of what he had and highlight the strengths. In WWE, stubborn as hell is trying to highlight the weaknesses of Roman Reigns. Why not just have him say nothing, run out there, beat the hell out of Sheamus? The more you try and just have him be John Cena or The Rock, it's going to only highlight Reigns' weaknesses. People liked Reigns in the Shield partly because he was a man of a few words. He just went out there and powerbombed people and speared people and punched people. And that's what they wanted to see. I mean, look at the very first, that initial Shield promo.
Yeah.
Reigns said one line, when I, like, basically, to paraphrase, when I have something to say, I'll say it, and just, walked away.
Do you guys feel like there's some sort of switch that happened with Roman Reigns? Like, remember a couple of months ago, even weeks ago, where we said, like, okay, it's time for Roman to be the guy. But that Roman then is not the same Roman it feels like we have right now. It's almost like they stopped letting him do anything and like, you need to do what we're telling you, and that's how you're going to do it.
It's partly because whoever's writing for him doesn't know how to write for him. Like,
But what was so different, when he was with Dean Ambrose and stuff?
Because I think now that Rollins is hurt, he has to be the guy, and they're writing him to be the guy. You know what I mean? Like, Reigns was he was in that upper card spot, but he wasn't. They were kind of keeping him out of the spotlight when Rollins was champion before they kind of built to their eventual Survivor Series match that was supposed to happen. But now Reigns is in the forefront, and I think it's just kind of highlighting his weaknesses even more.
And I think the reason why so many people call him Samoan Cena is because when he was in the upper card, when he was involved, like the BFFs with Dean Ambrose recently, we were super okay. Go back and listen to me. I was fine with him becoming champion.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, and I think we're all on board for that because they had been building it right.
But what happened then is they went back to the well that we and a lot of people complain about. Storytime Reigns, Suffering Succotash Reigns. This is okay. End of the 3-hour Raw. Just context. You're super tired. You got to go to work Tuesday, right? So what do? You put a bunch of tables, ladders, and chairs around the ring, and you have Roman Reigns standing in the middle of the ring telling his entire story of how he got there. It's like, we know. We have been watching week in after week out, but he talks about the Shield since day one, and he has had to claw his way up to the top. That is not his strength. He was at best when he was just a badass Samoan guy that would beat the crap out of people, and he would crack a smile because he's ridiculously good looking. And that was all that was needed. But then it's like you finally had a good chunk of the people that were okay with him becoming champion. You had the casual audience eating him up. When the guys came down here to Puerto Rico about a month and a half ago, dude, when Reigns came out, that pop was bigger than Cena in Puerto Rico, okay? Bigger than Cena, bigger than Batista, bigger than Taker. I cannot believe that. And
bigger
no
than
pun
Batista.
intended.
Nobody's bigger than Batista.
Bigger than Batista's push. I mean,
okay.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, just clarifying there. I'm not Melina. And then what happened then is that those same people, even on social media, are now poking fun at him. It's like, you had them. Why do you feel the necessity to extend? And there's one last thing I want to bring up here, because I want to keep playing devil's advocate. I know that we've gotten a couple of questionable comments regarding, podcasts or people complaining online about WWE. And I think that and I want to get your feedback, this is the big problem WWE has. They still see all of us, anybody listening, anybody, that comments, us included, as the keyboard warriors. You go to YouTube, and the top YouTuber is called PewDiePie. And it's one frickin' guy that does game videos. And one video that he does will get more views than the average TV show. WWE has a YouTube channel. IGN has a YouTube channel. He gets more views than anybody. Times have changed, and they need to progress with the times. They can't keep seeing like the kids that react in the audience, because kids are high pitched. So by default, if they chant Tater Tots, it's going to come off on screen. Even if we get a bunch of pictures on social media where half the crowd is leaving during your main event, when it's the two guys that you want people to go into TLC to watch. And we have Ryan here, the sex stallion. You're going to TLC, man. Are you pumped?
That's the thing. This is why I hate myself, because I am still excited to go to TLC,
great,
but I shouldn't be.
But here's the question. Are you excited because you're going to an event, or are you excited to see what's going to happen at the event? Like, it's cool. Yeah, I'm going to a WWE pay-per-view. It's tables, ladders, and chairs. I'll see a cool thing or two, a cool spot or two. Or are you excited to see Roman Reigns versus Sheamus? Are you excited to see the tag team championship
It's the live
match?
show experience. And maybe to see like Kevin Owens and Dean Ambrose. But other than that, and the New Day, of course. But other than that, there's nobody I'm super excited for.
Because I think those are two very different things.
No, they really are. And the last tidbit I want to bring up here, I know I've been talking a lot, but I even posted a video last night. I haven't done that in
You're
forever.
allowed to talk, Juan.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
You're
you.
1/3 of the
here
show,
for it.
man.
Damn, right? That is awesome. Okay. Because I know that there are people that at the end of the day enjoy the show. And I don't want those people to feel bad, because I think that's super okay. Like, at the end of the day, like, for example, I'm 26. I've been watching wrestling since I was 5.
God, I thought I was ancient.
Right? So there comes a point in time where it doesn't matter what you feed me. Like, I've had it in the past, or, you can put a lipstick on a pig. It's still a pig. Like, all those analogies, I'm terrible at all of them. What matters is that this is great for the casual fan, because you can watch Raw And at the end of the day, you get your good matches because you always get at least that one standout match on Raw. You get at least 1 or 2 promos that make you laugh. It's a great spectacle that week in and week out. It looks the same visually, the camera style, like everything is familiar. You have a great roster. Arguably the greatest roster WWE has had in years is in there right now. You have, like, in years ago, you never thought half these people would be in the roster. Your Kevin Owens, your Dean Ambrose. We have them in there. There should be, hypothetically, no excuse. Seth Rollins was your champion. He was Tyler Black. I poked fun of the guy while I was watching Ring of Honor with Ryan back in like 2000. Damn, I almost said the F word. I don't know, it was like 2007 or something like that. Ideally, WWE should be the perfect product right now, yet we don't feel like that. I'm almost tempted to just watch NXT during Raw or something else. And I know I'm not the only one that shares this thought. Like, before we break into the announcements, I want the scoop, guys. How do you feel about that level of your WWE Raw, not pay-per-view, not NXT, your Raw watching experience?
It's just, it feels bad, man. I just, like, I'm just going to bring up little examples of just what bothers me. Like the Ambrose-Kevin Owens interaction tonight. Sure, maybe they're going to do some more building on SmackDown. But my main thing is, like, sell me on TLC. Nothing on this show sold me on TLC. Like, Ambrose comes out with the popcorn and the soda. And, Kevin Owens is supposed to be this no-nonsense type of guy. His shirt says "Fight Owens Fight" on it. He gets popcorn thrown at him and soda thrown at him. And what does he do? He doesn't try to fight him. I'm just like, why isn't he trying to beat the crap out of Ambrose right now? Or even Ambrose, who's supposed to be the lunatic. I guess being a lunatic means you only throw popcorn and soda at somebody now. Something somebody in the audience could basically do. That's cool. Just little things like that. And things I was watching a CM Punk promo from like 2011, I think. 2011, 2012. It was with John Laurinaitis before Royal Rumble. And he just completely cuts down John Laurinaitis. But the way he does it, it's not like he's trying to do this complete shoot promo or anything like that. It's kind of a mix of reality and selling a feud between him and Laurinaitis. And it just reminded me of what a good promo feels like, where you actually believe in what they're saying. Whether it's actually true or not, that's how he actually feels. You really buy in. And then someone else on, in Squared Circle linked, comparing Reigns' Tater Tot promo to a promo with The Rock, where, it had stupid, immature jokes too, but the delivery of The Rock is what made it great. And even so much as to say, like, I know I'm all over the place, but okay, we got
That's
people who are just number one contenders for whatever reason. Like, they lose a match to the champion, but they still get to face off for the title, and we wonder why. Like, what does winning a match even mean? But at least, like, I see this promo, that same promo with The Rock. He talks about, I just beat Triple H last week, so why is he getting a title shot? Well, maybe it's because, like, he basically said that Triple H is, kissing the corporate, Vince McMahon's ass or whatever. But it's like, even that little explanation, just to be like, hey, he's getting like pointing out the obvious of, he just lost a match. Why is he getting a title shot? Oh yeah, it's because he's kissing Vince McMahon's ass. You know what I mean? Little things like that, just bridging the gap in logic instead of just being like, hey, we're going to have these guys face each other 5 times before a pay-per-view. None of it matters. But now it's for the title. Now you're supposed to care. But
not to stray too far off.
What?
And not to stray too far off, but just a quick example, and sorry to interrupt. NXT last week has a storyline with that exact same scenario. Like, the number one contenders for the NXT tag titles are Enzo and Cass. Cass has been injured. They did not do anything to qualify for number one contenders. So the tag champions are calling them out on that. That's like, oh, because they're the fan favorites, that's what they get. So they don't even need to win a match to become number one contenders. You have a show that last week just did that. So why is there such a disconnect between the developmental show, which is my favorite show, and then Raw, which is becoming my developmental show?
Yeah,
I think
and
it
that's
all
kind of
comes back to the whole, is Raw for us anymore? Sorry for cutting you off.
Yeah, no,
miserably there,
this is just my last point actually, and I'm glad you brought up NXT because yes, I haven't really been. I've watched a few things from NXT in the past few months, and Juan told me you got to check out this week's main event if you're gonna do anything else. If you're gonna watch anything else in wrestling, to watch this. And on my break today, I just kind of, because you can't really pinpoint matches on the network, I just kind of threw it to like 20 minutes before the end of the show and just watched the last 20 minutes of NXT. And I came in right in the middle of a match between Emma and Dana Brooke, I believe. And
No.
I could
Emma
tell.
versus a developmental.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought it was Dana Brooke. I was kind of confused there for a second. All right. So it was a developmental talent. And I could tell within just 2 minutes of watching that this already felt more like a competition, like a sport type of match than I had felt on anything on Raw in the longest time. And it kind of just woke me up to be like, wow, Raw is just really everybody just trying to get their stuff in, hitting all the spots, and then closing out the match. And then you watch the main event with Samoa Joe and
Tommaso Ciampa.
Tommaso Ciampa. And you see like an actual story being told. They always talk about telling stories. That match, it was a nice little match. It wasn't some 5-star classic, but it was just this nice, small, perfectly executed match that told a story and made you feel something. No words were spoken, and the whole story was told. And Samoa Joe is doing a much better job of being the angry, intense Samoan than Reigns.
He's a heel.
Yeah.
He's a bad
heel,
guy.
but like you could work that same style, and as long as you're beating up the good guys, that will get over as hell as a babyface.
No, but what I'm saying there is that in NXT, bad guys feel like bad guys, and good guys are good guys that you want to cheer. Bailey on the main roster, and this has been speculation for a long time, would probably fail.
That segment with Bailey sold a feud. The bad guys getting people to actually dislike them. Well, I don't know, throw Bailey through a freaking door.
Yeah.
And, where's the stuff like that on Raw? That was more intense than anything I've seen on Raw.
People, we don't want to get to
my
this
last
point.
thing was kind of like my proposition of maybe, sometimes I make an excuse like, I don't think to watch NXT or whatever. Maybe I should just start watching NXT during one of the crappy hours of Raw. I could watch 3 NXTs during one Raw.
Like, let's actually experiment. Next week,
honestly,
maybe a challenge.
not the worst idea.
Yeah, next week may be a challenge because it's like TLC, and then maybe something
I'll
will
have
happen
Raw
during
on my
Raw.
TV, but I'll watch some NXT on my laptop.
And this is going to be hard, but just figure out at the end, like, where was your legitimate attention, like, between those two things that are happening? You have 2 rings that are the same size. One of them is supposed to be developmental. The other one is not. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time. Let's talk about some more positive things. We do love NXT, so this shows we're not here to hate. Like, we love some good wrestling inside the WWE. But getting to a couple of announcements, we are getting to our end of the year awards. So the last podcast of the year, it'll be a best of. We have a couple of different categories like Disappointment of the Year, Change the Channel Award, Superstar of the Year, Rookie, Diva of the Year, so many good things. But we have a special Viewer's Choice category that is exclusive to YouTube. So if you go to youtube.com/Byte That Cast, you can vote until around more or less next week is about the deadline. Next Wednesday, guys, next Wednesday is what day? Can somebody look that up? My mouse is too far.
That would be
the 16th.
The 16th.
The 16th of December is the deadline to submit your entries. So go over there. You leave a comment on the YouTube video. Like 70 comments in less than 24 hours, guys. Like, really. Freaking incredible. Thank you so much for the support. Same categories that we will be voting on internally for our thing. So on the week, last week of the year, you're going to get the podcast special. And then on the weekend, you're going to get your picks into a full-length video thing. We also have the SRTs available on the channel. The latest one is hypothetically, what would happen to the WWE if Vince McMahon was no longer there? He passed away sadly. How would that shift wrestling as a whole? And this Thursday, guys, we are going to have a special challenge because Ryan, his singing chops are almost ready. Ryan singing Tyler Breach's theme will be happening.
I've been practicing.
Hopefully. How's that duck lip face going for you?
I haven't quite got it. You know, I've got the Magnum down, but not Blue Steel.
Almost. You'll get there, man. So yeah, this Thursday, there's an ice cream truck going by. So if you guys want some vanilla ice cream, you go right ahead. This Thursday, we have a triple threat special where the winner, this is going to be in 2K16 between the three of us. We've never done a triple threat online match. It's going to go up on the channel. We are on webcam. The winner will get to choose the stipulation for the next best of 5, and the 2 losers will have to battle in that best of 5. So that's going to be interesting. I'm probably going to win, and Ryan is probably going to have to sing again.
Man.
Nah, you're looking at the wild card right here, baby.
I can't lose twice in a row. I really can't.
Of course you can, and you will. So
And you will.
yeah, it's going to be a good one. Let's see what happens over there. Okay, guys, so we have delved a lot into the WWE Raw watching experience, and now we'll be getting to our TLC predictions, and then getting to a couple of questions. We won't be able to get through all of them. It's been a quite the lengthy episode. As of this recording, we have 6 announced matches for TLC. Usually we get a couple more on SmackDown, but guys, are you ready for the lightning quick TLC predictions?
Yes.
Let's diggity do it.
So the man that is no
diggity dog.
Whip it, no. Sock, no. Slap nuts.
Isn't it Socko?
Socko.
I've always thought it was slap nuts, but Ryan tells me it's Socko.
No, I thought you agreed with me eventually that it was Socko, because why would they take a Jeff Jarrett catchphrase?
It is Socko, right. Close enough. So anyway, the guy that was formerly part of Mex America and now is divorced from Zeb Coulter and is part of the League of Nations. Alberto Del Rio defends the U.S. title in a chairs match against Jax Swagger, a.k.a. Keith 2.0. Keith, Ryan, myself for predictions.
I don't think there's a chance of Jack Swagger winning, period. And I mean, I kind of look like the guy, and I don't even believe that. So I'm going with Del Rio on this one. Man, why is a chair match a thing?
I don't know.
Yeah, there's just no response to that. I don't know.
I guess it's better than the stair match we had last year, but geez Louise, a chair match is not the best concept.
All right, yeah, Del Rio wins. Swagger's just basically a piece to get Del Rio over, because beating John Cena wasn't enough. You got to get that Swagger in there.
Yeah. I mean, nothing else needs to be said. Alberto Del Rio survived the Puerto Rico assault that he had this weekend, which was about 15 minutes away from my house during the WWC show. He wrestled down here. He has that thing with the Carlos Colon. Anyway, Alberto Del Rio wins. Next up, elimination 8-man tag team tables match. The Wyatt family, Braun Strowman, Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, Bray Wyatt, against Team Extreme guys.
Yeah, the Hardy Boys are back.
Yeah, man, they gained. Man,
I
Hardy
cannot
gained
believe.
way more weight than last time.
Yeah,
Lita grew a beard.
Doesn't look quite good on her, does it?
No.
So yeah, apparently Team Extreme, no longer originals, is the Dudley Boys, Bubba and Devon, Tommy Dreamer, and Ryan. You're part of WWE now, the War Machine Rhino. Which team wins?
Man, I wasn't here last week, so I didn't get to go on this tangent. But my lord, can we please stop with these ECW reunions? Oh my god, they are played to death. Just let ECW lay and just move on to something else. The only way I would enjoy this whole ECW reunion is if on Monday on Raw, Paul Heyman comes out with Brock Lesnar, says like, hey, you guys need to stop it. ECW is dead, and Brock Lesnar just kills all of them.
That would be fun.
That would be great. It's the only way I can see this justifiable. That being said, they're totally going to win this match because
the originals?
I made a promise. Yes, the originals. I made a promise to myself. Never going to be hurt by Bray Wyatt again.
true.
So
Right.
I can never.
I almost wanted to do the same thing as you, Keith. I almost did. But just in my head, I realized, okay, who does Vince McMahon like to job out more than the Wyatt family? And that is
Dreamer.
ECW and
solution.
WCW talent. So the Wyatt family, because they were built in the House of McMahon, will defeat Team Extreme, along with Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, Lita, Shannon Moore, and the rest.
How much did it bug you that Michael Cole called Rhino the Gore Machine and not the War Machine?
I
Because
guess the War Machine isn't PG enough. So
I
it's
guess
the War
not.
Did
Machine.
TNA actually trademark something? I don't know.
Yeah, that was weird. So I'm gonna have to go with the Wyatt family. I know, Keith, we made a pact on the show, but for crying out loud, as Ryan said, if anybody's going to lose
that's
to the
true.
Wyatts,
Tommy Dreamer is in this match.
yeah. I mean, if Tommy Dreamer comes out on top, what the hell, man? Seriously.
Well, it is elimination, so Tommy can totally go through a table in the first minute and a half, give or take.
Damn. It only makes sense. Okay. We didn't have a lot of time to talk about this promo, so maybe Ryan on a weekend video. I don't know. But Charlotte, who is now officially a cocky heel, with Ric Flair by her side officially, defends the Divas Championship against the now babyface Paige. This is getting confusing.
You gotta love the double turn, Maggle. When the hell did that happen? Paige was just talking about Charlotte's dead brother 2 weeks ago, and now she's a babyface.
Hey, remember like before the Divas Revolution where we were having this exact same conversation with the Bellas? Are they face? Are they heel? Who knows?
Not Paige's bow.
They still haven't decided that. I'm pretty sure Brie turned face last week.
True enough. But I think Charlotte's going to win this match.
Yeah, Charlotte's gonna win.
Pretty much. I don't think they would go all the way out with including Flair as I guess officially her manager now, and then have her lose the first one here. So I'm going to go with Charlotte. Now, triple threat tag team ladder match for the WWE Tag Team Championships. The New Day, the Unicorn Masters, the Usos, and the Lucha Dragons battle it out to walk out as the tag team champions.
You know, the Usos are just coming back. Is this their first pay-per-view match since being back?
I think so.
Yeah, because
were they in the Survivor Series?
Yeah, they
one
were
of
in the
the
Survivor
things?
Series
Right,
match. Right. So this is their first match back, is in like a tag team match. I think it's time for them to take the belts over the New Day. The New Day's had them for a while. The Usos are hot right now. Kind of adds to the whole Roman Reigns hype by proximity. And I think the Usos are going to come out on this one.
I think they're going to keep them on the New Day. They're selling a ton of merch, and they're just going to keep that train rolling until we hate them.
I'm actually going to go with Lucha Dragons. I could actually sense a little bit of an upset. The product is so standardized that I think that of all the matches, I could see a situation play out where the rivalry between the Usos and the New Day is so personal that they're just brawling at one point. Kalisto is so lightning quick, he goes up, and then, well, is this is grabbing the titles, right? Just making sure.
It's
it?
a ladder match, so I would assume so.
Yes, then I guess so.
Yeah, just so if that's the case, then I would see that scenario where Kalisto and Sin Cara being really fast and all that. So it's a case of you really do have something to play off of, because then you have two teams chasing for the titles. Whereas if you had the Usos win, it would sort of just put the Lucha Dragons back on the shelf, and then it would be just the New Day stealing the show. So I'm going with the Lucha Dragons. The next match is for the Intercontinental Championship, so I have a weird accent right now. Kevin Owens takes on Dean Ambrose, who hopes to become champion.
I think Kevin Owens is going to retain. This will probably be the match of the night, just because they're both incredible wrestlers, but I think Kevin Owens is going to retain, maybe drag out this feud to WrestleMania.
Is there any stipulation or anything like that, or it's just straight up singles match?
Well, it's a singles match, so I guess it's two people in the ring, and then one of them will lose.
Hell of a stipulation. I think they're probably not going to take the title off of Kevin Owens right now. It doesn't seem like it. The feud will probably go on a little bit longer, but yeah, I pick Kevin Owens.
Same. I think it's going to be the disappointment of the night. I don't think this match is going to get a lot of time. It's maybe going to be all this popcorn, having fun match, and Kevin Owens won't really be able to showcase just like the prize fighter character. But regardless, I'm going with Kevin Owens. Now, main event time, not Billy Stallion. It is a tables, ladders, and chairs match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. The champion, the leader of the League of Nations, Sheamus, battles the Roman Empire leader, Roman Reigns.
I think Sheamus is going to win this. There's going to be a lot of shenanigans that happen in this match. No Billy Stallion. And
are you going to watch them whip?
I am going to watch the entire League of Nations both whip and nay in that match. But I think they're gonna drag this out till WrestleMania at this point. I think Roman's not gonna get that win until the granddaddy of them all, and Sheamus is gonna retain his title in this TLC match.
I don't know if they're dragging any feuds going on right now until WrestleMania, but that's neither here nor there.
I mean, by that I mean Roman chasing the title. I think somebody else will be champion before WrestleMania. Sheamus won't keep it that long, but Roman will.
Nah, son. Roman Reigns is going to win the title at Royal Rumble.
Nah, bruh. Bruh.
So I pick Sheamus to win this.
We'll talk about that
League
later.
of Nations is going to go all shenanigans, like Keith said. They're just going to interfere. And is Rusev facing Ryback, by the way? Is that going to be a thing?
I'm assuming so. It's not an official match.
They need a pre-show match.
Rusev wins on that one.
Yeah.
Probably. Okay, so I'm going to have to go with Sheamus also. I think it'd be weird. You just establish the stable and then, bam, the champion loses.
That would be
kinda kill the
hilarious.
momentum. It would be hilarious. And with Sheamus, that is possible. We've seen way worse happen to him. So I'm not going to say never, but yeah, I'm going to just go with Sheamus as the Great White Champion.
Sheamus.
I don't know where that came from. Anyway, let's
Tater Tot. Tater
No.
Tot.
okay,
Remember
guys.
the Cookie Puss chant? It's worse than that.
So many chants have happened. We should do like top 10 worst chants, like just the worst of the worst.
The what chant is number one? I don't care what anyone says.
That is by
Agreed.
default number one. Okay, guys, so we can't get to all of the questions, but Mr. Poshik will summon the power of this Google Drive document, which contains questions, which Mr. Poshik,
Yes.
if they wanted to send questions, how can they do that?
Funny you ask that, Juan. They can do that by
part of
sending us an email, bytethatcast@gmail.com. Send us a message on Twitter, twitter.com/bytethatcast. Use the hashtag AskBT. We'll see it. We'll love it. Might be on the show. Send us a comment on YouTube or a message on YouTube. Whatever you kids do on YouTube these days. YouTube.com/bytethatcast. We're on Facebook. We're on Wrestling Amino. We're on Instagram. All of those fun places.
All right, you nailed it. Let's move on.
There are places.
All right.
What are the questions?
The first question comes from the True Prince of Pro, as seeing as you want to know. And he asks, with the quality of Raw being so poor as of late, us wrestling fans have become very sad and depressed. So I was wondering, what moments in wrestling history were so emotional that they made you either cry in tears of joy or sadness?
Well, let's see. Definitely one. I didn't cry or have tears, but definitely an emotional moment in recent history is when Bayley won the NXT Women's Championship. That was a very emotional match, and to see the journey that Bayley had been on to win the championship, that was a good one. Obviously, anytime tears of sadness is usually having to do with, you know, the death of a wrestler such as Eddie Guerrero.
Well, yes. To both of those points, actually.
I'm trying to... I'll pass it off to you guys because I can't quite think of any other kind of emotional moments that are just like moments in wrestling and not just like a death or something.
Okay, so I have 3 examples just for the sake of time. So the latest this is like 2003, I think, Survivor Series, where it was Team Austin, Team Bischoff. Like when Team Austin lost, the whole thing was like, hey, he's going to retire. He came back as a, just more general manager type involvement. But the way they played that off, they did such a great job that I did get a little emotional because I thought, like, maybe this is it for Stone Cold. I didn't read dirt sheets back in the day. I didn't know. That was one of them. I just watched this today because it was on Squared Circle. We need to give them, like, some sort of, like, thing prize this week. Was when Dean O'Brien turned on the Wyatt family. Even though that feud, it was weird. Just seeing how invested the crowd got during that cage match with almost nothing happening. Holy crap,
Goosebumps.
That was amazing. Yeah, legitimate goosebumps. And then the last time where I did get a little teary-eyed, actually, was during the first Bayley-Sasha Banks match, actually, that they had at the TakeOver show before the Iron Man match, because that was sort of the point where I was thinking what we were saying today. The whole situation where, yeah, you're watching, but is it out of habit? All these things. And then I watched that match, and I remembered, like, yep, I love wrestling. Like, I have no doubts about that. It is just Raw. And just the combination of great women's match, great show, and then reminding me why I love wrestling. It was just emotional combination, guys.
Indeed. I think a really good moment that really solidifies a tear of happiness moment. And I'm just talking about the moment itself. Everything around it was what it was. But Daniel Bryan winning the title at WrestleMania 30, that moment during the whole show, the struggle, the win, the celebration, everything was just a great moment, and it made you feel good. Like, yeah, our guy did it, guys. It's awesome.
We had to fight for that.
Exactly. It was, and boy, oh boy, it was an uphill battle. But as far as like a tears of sadness or something that you would get emotional about, I would say Ric Flair's retirement really did that for me.
Great example.
Especially the night after, when everybody came out, everybody just kind of celebrated Ric Flair's career.
Leave the memories alone.
And that. But just a very emotional moment, a very beautiful send-off to a great career.
Definitely.
And, yeah. Got anything, Ryan?
I already went.
Oh, did you?
Well, because you were like, not sure about the sad
Well, I
parts,
said the Bayley match and then the passing of Eddie Guerrero.
That's fair.
And, well, I lost it. I thought I won and then I lost it.
Well, if you get
Fair
it back,
enough.
we've interrupted you quite a bit. You can interrupt us at any point you want.
Exactly. But thank you for the question, True Prince of Pro. Our next one comes in from Brian Z, who asks, has Dolph Ziggler had a Hall of Fame-worthy career? He's won every possible title minus the WWE World Heavyweight Championship and has been relevant and irrelevant throughout his time.
I'm just going to give some... Let's bring up an obstacle, because I think when you have Coco Beware and Rikishi in the Hall of Fame, it almost becomes too easy. Like, being more critical, I guess, and ignoring that those two got type of talent mid-card are in there. Do you guys think he does deserve a spot?
Yeah, because I was going to say, if Rikishi's in it, then pretty much anybody can be in it. I think if we take out those examples, then I don't quite think so. He's done a lot, and he's had a really good career, all things considered, when you compare him to the average WWE talent. But I don't think he has ever quite achieved that top level, you know?
I have a question. And it's a weird one, but I think it kind of fits. Do you think Billy Gunn should be in the Hall of Fame? Because it's kind of the same thing.
I don't think he should be in as an, I don't think he should be in as an individual. Yeah.
Billy Gunn, period.
Yeah, no. By himself, no.
Mm-hmm.
As the New Age Outlaws, I would say yes.
Yeah, New Age Outlaws or DX, I think that's fine.
There's a reason that Ric Flair got inducted twice, because, I mean, the Four Horsemen is a completely different thing. So for me, I would say no. Honestly, I think that the story that the online community has created, similar to like a Bray Wyatt, where it's like, oh, can they really do this? He has so much potential, has been more interesting than the storylines we have actually gotten on TV. A lot of the stuff has ended with concussions or terrible storylines, and as much potential as he has, I can't say there's a single feud or storyline that I want to go back and really think about.
And I think that's the nail on the head right there, is that Dolph Ziggler's been around a long time. He has had his ups, he has had his downs, but there is no moment that stands out and you remember Dolph Ziggler for. Like, even the moments that come to mind where I'm thinking of the high points of Dolph Ziggler's career. His feud with Edge, that was good because he was feuding with Edge. Cashing in, yeah. The whole, even the Survivor Series last year. Yeah, Ziggler went the mile, but that wasn't Dolph Ziggler's spot. And Sting was really the big exclamation point on that moment. So, no, I don't really think he has had a Hall of Fame career. Kind of a bummer, if you think about it.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? I think with a lot of guys, like a Wade Barrett, Kofi Kingston, guys that have been there for a while. You forget that Kofi's been in there for years.
But now Kofi's got the New Day. Kofi's gold. Yeah, he's set.
But since the New Day, that was questionable.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, basically, he had the whole kids behind him and his Royal Rumble spot to keep him employed.
You're making me crazy, Kofi.
Jamaican me crazy.
He carved out his little niche to stay in there, but now he's actually found himself, found something.
Indeed, he has. But thank you for the question, Mr. Brian Z. Our next one comes in from J4 Gaming, who asks, what kind of music do you guys listen to? You know, something a little off topic right now. What do you listen to?
We kind of need that.
Yeah, it's a good change of pace.
I'll start, I guess, because you guys were just whatever. I like most music, I would say, but I'm a biggest fan of rock music. So especially a lot of, late 90s rock, alternative, and early 2000s. They don't make a ton of rock music today, but I like some of the new stuff too. I just wish there was more of it. I'm sure if I really went digging, I could
You're
find some...
You're not just not looking in the right places, believe me.
Yeah, I'm probably not. I don't know about more of the indie underground type of stuff, and I just end up don't going looking for it. So maybe if you guys got some good rock music that I should be listening to, you can recommend it to me.
Congratulations.
For me, I listen to pretty much everything. I listen to music from the 50s, 60s, 70s. My favorite band is the Creedence Clearwater Revival is one of my favorite bands. Very short-lived band. Yeah, I love rock, metal. I listen to pop. I'll listen to Katy Perry if I want, and then I'll listen to Metallica. I've had a playlist where that has happened.
Yeah.
So I like Eminem. I like Final Fantasy music or orchestrated music, piano. Depends on what I'm in the mood for. So the answer is literally almost anything. Follow me on Spotify. I don't know how you can follow me there or something. And those are some random ass playlists I have. And Ryan's YouTube playlist, by the way, is amazing. I got to give that a shout out.
Indeed. Yeah, no, I'm pretty much in the same boat as you, Juan. My day job is in radio, so I kind of try to keep with the current music, what's going on in the top 40. What am I going to be listening a lot of in the near future? But sometimes I'll just go down these weird music holes. Like you mentioned Spotify. One of my favorite things on Spotify is the Discover Weekly tab, where I'll just find these weird songs that I never in a million years would have listened to / enjoyed. It turns out a heavy metal death cover to Blank Space by Taylor Swift, turns out it's pretty good.
I have listened to that. It's great.
It's interesting, but yeah, honestly, it comes down to what kind of mood I'm in. Sometimes I'm in a death metal mood. Sometimes I'm in a pop mood. Sometimes I start out in a hard rock mood and I end up in a gangster rap mood. It all depends.
The only thing I can't stand is country music. I will find a way to listen. New age country music. I can even appreciate the old school Johnny Cash country type music.
Yeah.
But today's poppy country music is the worst, and I hear it at work all the time, and it feels bad, man.
Yeah, if you're a fan, we apologize, but it's hot trash. Seriously.
We apologize, but it's no good.
Sorry, not sorry. But thank you for the question, Mr. J4 Gaming. Our next one comes in from NKBE1324, who asks, does it really feel like there's a pay-per-view this Sunday?
No.
Well,
No.
I'm going to it, so yes.
Yeah, the ticket reminds you of that, but I'd say aside from that, it felt normal. It didn't feel like there was a high stakes pay per view, which it's not. Let's be honest. Here it's not Survivor Series or Rumble, so yeah, but it should be a good show. I'm just saying that because you're going.
I think the best quote was that "Go Home" segment on Raw made everybody go home.
Literally,
It is the most literal go-home segment that we've ever had, but no, it absolutely doesn't feel like there's a pay-per-view this Sunday. It been a pretty weak build, all things considered, to TLC. It's been more like, hey, let's throw everybody at Roman Reigns and hope to God this works. It's been more of a Roman Reigns build than a tables, ladders, and chairs build.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
pretty much.
So, thank you for the question, sir. Our next one comes in from Pipe Bomb Martin, who asks, why do each of you still watch the WWE?
Oh, I think this episode is in many ways cleared that up. Yeah, I think for my case, I just watch it because I love the balance. I think if you rephrase it, I'm going to be positive here. Rephrase it. Why do I still watch NXT? Because NXT has everything that I look for in a TV show within a 1 hour time limit. Gives me storylines, gives me characters I care about, gives me action, gives me an incentive to come back next week, and gives me an incentive to talk to somebody else about it. Shout out to Barnables for wanting me to watch that NXT main event.
Let's see. Why do I still watch WWE? My answer is HHH. Habit, hope, and hippos.
Herpes, no?
For me, it's quite simple. I love the WWE. I love wrestling. I've been doing this, Ryan, since I was 5 years old.
Wrestling?
And I do watching wrestling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I want to enjoy it. It's one of my favorite things. I would honestly consider wrestling as one of those things that defines me as a human being. Got real tongue-tied there for a second. But it defines me as a human being. It's something that I've watched my whole life, and I love it to death. I want it to be good.
I want
it to be
that
good.
W word
You
is
need it to be good.
yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I do actually.
Wherever you want,
right in my veins, right here, and just. I hope, like Ryan said,
habit and hope,
and no hippos or the other one that wants.
Maybe
said.
sometimes hippos.
Sometimes hippos, baby rage.
Hashtag
but thank you for the question, Byte Bomb Martin. Our final question of the show comes in from Allison W. Now, folks, make sure to tighten up your belts here because this one's going to be a doozy.
If you're driving, please pull over.
Yes. Allison W. asks, 1. Can you please do a freestyle rap about the new League of Nations?
Okay, guys, I'm terrible at this, so let's modify this a little bit. Can you give me something that they have to do? So the League of Nations is doing something or is trying to seek something. Like, what is their goal?
They're
They are a
trying
League of
to
Nation.
destroy Roman Reigns and the family.
Yes, and they are a League of Nation. They're all about domination.
So for context, people, I may be Hispanic, but rhythm is not one of my things, okay? I've seen Ryan dance. He's worse than me.
Yeah, he ain't no daddy Yankee.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. No, tierra. Okay, here we go. I'm good. I almost forgot the name. League of Nations. Here we go. I got nothing right now. Usually I'll open my mouth and just things come out. You guys have seen this during the show. Okay, so here you go. The League of Nations is here to stay. They're gonna try to take a stake, and then they're gonna take Mr. McNulty's on a date. And then, no, guys.
This is worse than the main event segment of Raw.
Okay, guys, like, let's be honest here.
All right, the League of Nations is here to stay. They're going to make Roman Reigns go away. They're going to take the title.
Yeah,
crap.
see, you're just as bad. You're just, like, rhythm is not
At
our
least
thing.
I rhymed
Yes.
once.
1, Ryan, can you both please stop? The words coming out of your mouth was worse than those tater tots. Oh,
That was
son.
not even good.
All right.
Stop and tots.
It
Nice
works.
try.
Doesn't always have to be. You could do like a 1-2, 1-2. I just didn't give you the other 1-2. Justified. Thank you, Allison W, for the questions.
And I apologize.
Thank
This is
you,
why
everyone.
we don't rap, folks.
Yeah, I know. It's not the Byte That freestyle cast.
If you,
But thank
we
you
write
all.
poems, but we need a lot of time to think them out.
I can't. You can. You two literally can. I cannot.
Indeed.
Yeah, we really thanks everybody for tuning in, checking out the show. This has been quite the unique episode. We've really been looking forward to this one more than every other show because every week we feel, well, let's be honest here. Every week we feel the necessity to talk about specific things that happen on Raw. But I think that every now and then we do need to just get rid of the agenda. We sort of did that last week, but with all of the negativity, we as a podcast should have sort of the responsibility of letting you know, like, this is how we're feeling about what we're going to talk about. So that is the standard. We loved the show when we first started doing the podcast, like WWE. We love NXT. So it's not like this blind hate, because I don't understand, guys, the people that just watch Raw or WWE to complain, even when it's great, even when Punk was involved, even when Bryan was a thing. I don't get that. I never will. But Ryan, what I will get is whenever you get pumped up at the end of the show to like get all the plugs, like go Super Saiyan, Ryan. Like, what is, okay, I want to hear you. What does Ryan McNulty going Super Saiyan sound like?
Have you ever heard somebody really constipated?
No, I
That's
want to
what
hear
it
it.
sounds
Though.
like.
Come on,
All
go
right,
for
but
it.
Or
hey,
his O face.
quick, lightning, final word. New Day's unicorn horns. Thoughts, go.
Yeah. That was me, by the way.
It's,
Is that the sound when somebody uses it?
Well, it depends where they use it, but
It's we're getting real close to that point we're all afraid of.
Yeah, I think so. They look
That's the
a
butthole.
little strappy do, if you know what I'm saying. But anyway, we want to thank everyone for listening to another edition of the Byte That podcast.
Strappy
If
dude.
our freestyle rap skills didn't scare you away, then stick around just a little bit longer, because I gotta tell you something. It's you gotta hit something. No, it's not the person next to you. Just
ass.
put your fist down. Don't hit anything.
Yeah, no
You wanna-
scrappy do needed.
You just gotta hit that subscribe button to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Byte That Cast this Thursday. Guys, I hope you got your gaming fingers ready, because we got a hell of a showdown this
We have the
Thursday,
horn, the
where it is a
fingers.
triple threat match in WWE 2K16. You saw our best of 5 series in 2K14. We're playing the new game now. We're caught up with the times. My voice totally cracked there. But anyway, we face off in a triple threat match. Winner gets to pick the stipulation for a best of 5 between the two losers, and whoever
No
loses
scrappy
that
do necessary.
is going to have some consequences, and you guys can help decide that too for whoever loses. Anyway, of course, you can check out our social media: Twitter @ByteThatCast, Facebook.com/ByteThatCast for our Facebook, Instagram Byte That, Wrestling Amino Byte That. For everything else, you can go to ByteThat.com. So thank you guys for listening, and we will see you next week.